What's up guys, Jake with Team Tactical. Coming at you with another special video. I want to talk to you about my experience with the super safe MP5-K. So this is, a variant of the original HK MP5-K. This is the Century Arms AP5-P. This is one that I've had for quite some time. For the longest time, I was always having issues with it running reliably with a suppressor with subsonic ammo. I could not get figured out. So then I threw a super safety in the mix to really make it a lot more fun. I was able to kind of solve some of my original issues I had. I wanted to make this video kind of be originally like, oh guys, check out the super safe MP5-K. But then as I started coming out here on multiple range trips, I was having issues. We're on super safe. I don't know how long it's gonna last. Oh man. That was a lot of fun. I bet I had jam. Yep, just trying to jam. See that? See, this is my problem I've had with the AP5-P. This is before even the super safety being put in. I keep dropping bullets too. I don't know what's going on with it, guys. I don't know. I didn't have problems when I was running unsuppressed with the regular locking block. I have gone through hundreds of rounds at this point to figure out exactly what works best for me with this particular AP5-P. So that's implying that what I'm telling you in this video may not be the case for your situation, for your particular MP5 or MP5-K clone, or even your, hell, AP5-P. This one could be different than yours. I'm simply telling you my experience, and maybe you run into some of the similar issues with your setup. Hopefully this video will help you with that too. With all that out of the way, let me just go ahead and tell you right now, I don't expect this video to get monetized by YouTube. If you want to help support this channel and help me recuperate some of the costs, check out SileyOptics.com. TN Tactical is your discount code, 10% off, and it does help me kind of recuperate some of the costs of this ammo. It works on almost all their red dots, the Pro, X-Pro, HDG, EDG. There's probably some other ones. Essentially, if it's one of the more fancy, expensive versions of one of their red dots, you'll probably have that discount code work for you. Appreciate that. Of course, liking and subscribing and clicking the bell thing, all that crap too. Also, if you like the shirt, if you want to get 10 Tactical merch, fattac.com. Again, I normally don't front run all my sponsorship stuff. In this case, with this particular one, not getting monetized and most likely age restricted. Just want to throw those out there. Appreciate it. Anyways, going into this situation we got here. So we do have the super safety installed with the AR lower adapter thing piece. This was actually purchased on AS Designs. Not a sponsor, they didn't send this out to me. I literally just paid regular price for mine as soon as it was available. Overall, the tolerances, the first thing I noticed out of the box was there's a little bit of looseness. You guys see how it's a little loose there? Definitely looser than a regular MP5 lower piece. Trigger housing, whatever you want to call that thing. That was my first impression. I noticed that was a little bit loose. I was like, well, that's okay. I've got ARs that are kind of like that too. It's not a big deal. And the truth is, that's not really an issue. What is an issue is the type of ammo that I'm running and running it suppressed versus unsuppressed. Now, this was not something I was actually going to be surprised about. If you watched my original and my final AP5-P review, you would know that this particular one, when running suppressed, I could not get to run reliably. I was just thinking maybe it was the magazine, maybe it was that locking piece. I know a popular thing with MP5-K is that you have to run the A degree locking piece versus the standard 110 locking degree piece if you want to run this thing suppressed. Well, that actually is not the case for me, because even with that A degree locking piece, I was having a lot of issues. In fact, I think I actually had more issues running this gun suppressed, both normal rate of fire and forced reset like this, super safe. I had probably more issues running with the A degree locking piece. That led me to believe, that made me think to myself, maybe I need to look at putting the original locking piece back in, which I did. I actually started out with the A degree locking piece from the start, and on my first range trip I did bring the other original piece and immediately swapped it out after about 2 or 3 mags, and it was just jamming up like crazy. To kind of rule out that it was the plastic mag, I didn't even bring the plastic mags originally. I just brought my metal AP5-P Century Arms mags. I wanted to rule out that factor. I brought a bunch of different calibers. I brought 115 at one point. I brought 124, 147, even subsonic like 155, 150 something grain subsonic 9mm. Tested them. I ruled out the locking piece being the issue, so I had the original locking piece in 120. 110 degree, whatever it's called. And as I was running through these, I made sure I kept it oiled. I was running it in the rain. I was running it in the regular hot weather. I was running out here today. And I quickly realized that the biggest factor for success on my setup, my AP5-P, is the bullet weight. Now, the dream here for this gun is to run subsonic 9mm forced reset / super safety with no issues. That was a dream. And unfortunately, that dream cannot be met. It was clear right out of the gate, 158, whatever it was called, subsonic. That crap was not going to run through this at all. It was jamming up constantly. It was very annoying. It was like every 2 or 3 rounds. I had originally on my second or first range trip 147 grain remanufactured. This is 147 grain remanufactured nickel plated. There's one bullet in there, complete, unstruck, and there's a casing. So I'm not sure what's going on with that. And running through that stuff, it was also very unreliable. Now it was remanufactured, and I kept that in the back of my mind to myself, okay, I'm not entirely certain the specs are right for that ammo. Ran some 124 grain. The 124 grain was from Longhorn, which is supposed to be the kind that this likes to run. There were a couple of issues, not nearly as much issues as I had with the 147 grain remanufactured, but there were some issues with the 124 grain. I didn't really like that. Ran it through 115 grain, no problems. 0 issues running this gun with 115 grain. Unfortunately, remember the dream was to keep it subsonic, and it wasn't really going to work out, unfortunately. This gun was okay with running 124 and very good with running 115. Okay, so I thought maybe the gun was dirty, so of course I cleaned the gun, ruled that out as being a factor. Came out here finally today on my 3rd or 4th trip at this point, and I had brought with me factory 115, factory 124, and factory 147. We'd already ruled out the 150 some odd subsonic. That was also factory, was not going to work. I then loaded up 5 115 grain mags, 3 of which were the metal mags, 2 which were those plastic ETS mags. Ran them, and every one of them ran flawlessly. I did oil it beforehand just because it was the first time shooting out here today. Ran flawlessly. And I was like, okay, you know what? Let's go ahead and jump right into the 147 grain. This was this stuff, the PMC bronze. Again, good deal. 147 grain. And the clear mags. Yep. God, how did this jam? Started having the same issues, both with plastic and metal mags. The 147 grain would not cycle through an entire mag without at least jamming once, but in most cases twice or 3 or maybe even 4 times. So to me, that kind of ruled out the magazine being the issue. I know people like to shell the ETS mags. I myself don't really find myself trusting them as much as metal mags for the MP5 platform, but in this case, I think the mags I have, again, the plastic ones are okay. They're not an issue. Another jam. So that was unfortunate because, again, the dream was to run this gun as a subsonic platform. And this has cooled off finally, so that's good. Do I think it could have anything to do with this being mounted as like a tri-lug? Maybe. I don't think that's a factor in deciding the reliability on this. Then we got to the 124 grain. This is 124 grain Blazer Ass. I know some people don't like Blazer Ass ammo. For those that know, you may already know this, but for those that don't know, the MP5 is meant to be ran on 124 grain. That's their NATO spec ammo. Granted, this is an MP5-K, so it may not be the same for the MP5-K, but I imagine it's probably close. Of course, we got all these funny parts in here. So the idea is it should run reliably with 124 grain. Let's see how she does. Oh, has a jam. Awesome. It's my favorite kind too, where it gets stuck between the bolt and the roll back delay whatever the fuck. Oh my God, it's the worst. Look at my hands. Look how many rounds I have loaded. I have put in, just today, I have probably put in 5 mags, 30, 60, 90, 150 plus 4 boxes of ammo. I have put in, well, plus the bag of ammo I had too. 100, 200. I've probably put about 400 rounds of ammo through this freaking gun today. Just trying to test the different calibers out. Not counting what I've shot over the past few range trips. I've probably put in 1,000 rounds at this point with the super safety. And I'm here to tell you that for me, again, for my particular gun, it seems to really only cycle 100% with 115 grain, despite the fact that 124 is supposed to be like the NATO standard when it was originally designed. Even then it's having issues. At least, again, all this is with the suppressor. Now, without suppressor, this gun, it's a different story. It actually runs a lot of this stuff reliably. 124, 115, 147 probably. I really personally would not run 147 to this without suppressor, because again, the dream is a subsonic platform that runs super safe with a suppressor. So I just want to make this video for you guys. While there's lots of cool videos out there showing it fine-tuned and running reliably, I want to give you my personal take and show you, at least for mine, for my particular setup, the Century Arms AP5-P with this Cerakote gray coating and, again, rugged Epstein 45. This is what is working for me. I can only run reliably under 15 grain. 124 is like probably 9%. Ish, you know, like not my preferred choice, but you might get away with it. The unfortunate thing with the MP5 platforms with that roller delay block set up here, the way it's designed, if you get a freaking jam, it is a pain in the ass. Not just to take out the mag and unjam it, but you might get something stuck like I got, where it goes between the pieces of that blowback system. And it's almost impossible to get out without using a tool. I think it's a lot of fun. Don't get me wrong. I think it's extremely fun. And I'm definitely going to keep it set up like this. This is awesome. Am I going to use it in like a home defense situation? Well, besides the fact that it's got super safety in there, that's going to be kind of hard to justify with our jury. Remember, we live in an echo bubble. This is our niche thing. People on the jury, if your peers, if you've got a home defense situation, if you were to use something like this in a home defense situation, I don't know if they would understand the difference between super safe and a regular full auto. Probably won't use this for home defense. I do like it. I think it's really cool. If I ever take it out for a range day event, I'll probably just run 115, 124 through it. If I ever had to use it for home defense though, not that I would, probably just use 115 grain. Is it gonna be loud? Yes. The suppressor does help with some of the loudness, but it doesn't take away that supersonic crack. It's better than nothing though. And for that, I still like it. Guys, if you're this kind of content, make sure to like, subscribe, comment down below. What do you think about the super safe MP5-K, in this case, the AP5-P? I'd love to hear from you. We will see you next time.